All right, so here we're on chapter 3 on polynomial and rational functions, and this is section 3.5 on dividing polynomials. Well, dividing polynomials is just like dividing with long division. So what do we do when we have something like 325 divided by 7? Well, we have 7 goes into 325, and we're not going to have any decimals. We're going to use remainders and things like that. So how many times does 7 go into 32? Well, if we do 4 times, that'll give us 28. Subtract that, we get 4. Bring down our 5. 7 times 6 will be 42. Subtract that, we get 3. That's our remainder. So it's going to be 3/7. So 46 and 3/7 will be the answer. Okay. Now, note we can rewrite this as 325 equals 7 times 46 plus 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, the divisor, times the quotient, and then add in the remainder of 3. Okay, not over anything, just plus that 3. Okay, because this is the actual remainder. So then that gives us this, divider equals, or dividend equals divisor times the quotient plus remainder. Now, one thing when we're doing polynomials versus just numbers, we have to be sure all terms are there in descending order. So if we have something like a 4x cubed plus 2x squared minus 7x plus 2, okay, well, we have a cubed, then a squared, and then a 1, and then none. So those are descending order. All the terms are there. But what if we had, say, 4x cubed plus 3x minus 4? Okay, well, here we've got the x cubed and an x and no x's, but we're missing an x squared. So what we have to do is we add that variable to the appropriate power, so this time an x squared, and we put it with the 0 coefficient. So it'll be a 0x squared goes in here. Okay, now the division algorithm for polynomial functions is going to be f of x equals d of x, basically our divisor, plus the q of x, which is our quotient, plus r of x, which is our remainder. Okay, now if this r of x is 0 and we do the division, then dx, this one, divides evenly into the f of x, and both dx and qx then are going to be factors of fx. So if we divide by dx and we find out, this is our quotient and there's no remainder, then both of these are actually going to be divisors of, or factors of the f of x. Okay, so let's do some long division. So what do? Well, we just write out our divisor out front, x minus 5 goes into, now what we want to do is first, before we go anywhere, make sure we have decreasing powers in all of them. We have an x squared, an x, no x's, so it looks good. So that's going to be 2x squared minus 9x minus 5. Now what we got to do is we have to look at our first term here and our first term here. And what we have to think about is, what do we have to multiply x by to get 2x squared? Okay, that's what we're doing when we're doing the division by polynomials. So well, we have to have a 2 here, and we have to have one more x's, because 2x times x is going to be 2x squared. So now we basically are going to rainbow it with this. So that's going to give us the 2x squared minus 10x. Okay, so we've just taken 2x times x, got 2x squared, 2x times minus 5, and got minus 10x. Now we're going to subtract that whole thing. So we have to remember we're subtracting the whole thing. So we go 2x squared minus 2x. Well, that's 0x squared, so we can leave that alone. We have a minus 9x minus a minus 10x. So basically minus 9x plus 10x. Well, that's just x. Now we bring down the next part, which is minus 5. Now, how many times does x minus 5 go into x minus 5? Well, that's just 1, and it's x minus 5. Then if we subtract again that whole thing, x minus x is 0, minus 5 plus 5 is 0, and so that is our remainder. And so this division comes down to just 2x plus 1 for our answer, because we got that remainder of 0. Okay. All right, so the next one, we throw a little bit of a curve to it. Now we have x squared, we're missing an x, and then 1, and x plus 1. So we're going to take x plus 1 into, now we have a negative x squared plus 0x, because we're missing that x, and then minus 1. Okay. Now, if we have to, let's go ahead and underline each of the terms. So what do we have to multiply x by to get a negative x squared? Well, we have to multiply it by a negative x. Negative x times x is negative x squared. Negative x times 1 is a negative x. Now again, we're subtracting that whole thing. So I put the whole thing in parentheses. Now we have a negative x squared minus a minus x squared. So it's negative x squared plus x squared is 0. And then 0 minus a negative x, so it's 0 plus x, so that's going to be x. And we bring down our negative 1. Okay. Now, how many times does that x go in? Now, see, this one's not exactly the same. So we have to say, how many times what do we have to multiply that first divisor by to get to here with the x? Well, we just multiply it by 1, and we get x plus 1. But again, we're subtracting, so x minus x is 0. Minus 1 is minus 2. Okay, so that one has a remainder. And what we can do is we can write this as minus a 2 over x plus 1. Okay, so our final solution would be a negative x plus 1 minus 2 over x plus 1. And that gives us our quotient and our remainder. Now we could have also said a negative x plus 1 plus a negative 2 over x plus 1, and we could have put that negative in the numerator so it kind of goes with the remainder, and then we have adding that remainder to it. So either way we want to look at it, both of those are going to give us the same answer. All right, what about here? Well, we have an x cubed, an x squared, an x, and no x. So that's all right. And then we're dividing by x minus 2. So it looks like we just have to do some division here. So we have x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 6. Now, again, let's go ahead and change our color here. What do we have to multiply x by to get that x cubed? Well, we have to multiply it by x squared. Now, x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times minus 2 is a minus 2x squared. And we're subtracting that whole thing. So that minus that is 0. This minus a minus, so this plus this is going to give us a negative x squared. We bring down 5x. Now, x and negative x squared, well, that's going to be a negative x. And so that gives us negative x squared, and then plus 2x. Now we subtract that whole thing. Minus, plus, those cancel. We have 5 minus 2. That's going to give us 3x. Now we got to bring down that negative 6. Now what do you have to multiply by x to get 3x? Well, you have to multiply that by a 3. So what we'll do is put our 3 up here, and we've taken FOIL that, and we'll have 3x minus 6. We'll subtract it. 3 minus 3 is 0. Minus 6 plus 6 is 0. That's our remainder. So this division comes out to be just x squared minus x plus 3. Okay. All right, what about the next one? Well, we've got 4, 3, 2, uh-oh, we're missing a 1. So we have to add 0x here, and then down here to that. Now what's over here? Well, now look, normally we've been dividing by binomials. Well, this is a binomial, but we have to have all the terms here too. So there's an x squared, we're missing an x, and then the 2. Okay, so this one's a little different. So we're going to take 3x squared plus 0x plus 2 into, now we're going to run out of room here, it looks like, but that's okay. We have 9x to the 4th minus 6x cubed plus 9x squared plus our 0x and then plus our 10. Okay. So what do we have to multiply 3x squared to get 9x to the 4th? Well, we're going to have to multiply by 3x squared. And that'll give us 9x to the 4th plus, well, we'll get 0x to the 3rd because, 3 times 0 is 0. X times x squared is x cubed. And then when 2 times 3 is going to be plus 6x squared. Now we subtract. 9 minus 9 is 0. Minus 6 minus 0 is going to still be a negative 6, and it's x cubed. 9 minus 6 is 3, so it's plus 3x squared. And now we bring down plus 0x. All right, what do we have to multiply 3 by to get a -6? We have to multiply it by a -2. X, we have to multiply by, or x squared, we have to multiply by x to get an x cubed. And so now we take a -2x times that, so it's going to give us -6x cubed plus 0x squared, and then that's going to be minus 4x. Okay, and again, we'll subtract off that whole thing. -6 plus 6 is 0. 3 minus 0 is going to give us 3x squared. 0 minus a minus and be plus 4x. Now we bring down our plus 10. Okay. Now 3x squared, to get 3x squared, well, that's just going to be a 1. And we get 3x squared plus 0x plus 2. Again, subtract that off. That's 0. 4 minus 0 is 4x. 10 minus 2 is 8. Okay. Or 10 plus 2, rather, not minus 2. Oh, wait. That is 10 minus 2. And that's a plus. Okay, so yeah, so that's right. That gives us the correct part there. Do I have anything wrong at any point? Don't think so. And so when we do that, that's going to be our remainder. So it's going to be plus 4x plus 8 over 3x squared plus 2. Now we don't have to put the whole thing back in when we have that. We just leave it like that. 3x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus 4x plus 8 all over 3x squared plus 2. All right, so that's what we have there. So now what? Now we go to the next page. Okay, we better circle that. So that's basically our quotient plus the remainder, and we have everything there. And now we're done. So we'll start and come back in a little bit.